Dade Phelan versus Greg Abbott. It's January 17th, 2024, and these are your headlines. Interesting day today as we have campaign finance reports, which are filed periodically, coming out, and they can give you a little bit of an insight into the state of political races across the state. One thing that caught my attention early on looking through some of these reports today is that even as he fends off primary challengers, House Speaker Dade Phelan is sending campaign contributions to several members of the Texas House, even those opposed by Governor Greg Abbott. Now, these newly released campaign finance reports, which cover the second half of last year, reveal that Speaker Phelan has directly contributed to 16 members of the Texas House. 16. The donations include around $15,000, give or take, each, to the following state representatives: Steve Allison, Ernest Bales, Ben Bumgardner, Drew Darby, Mano Diala, Stan Gertis, Cole Hefner, Justin Holland, J.C. Jatan, John Kemple, Stan Kitzman, Stephanie Click, Glenn Rogers, Lynn Stuckey, Kronda Timich, and Gary Van Dever. That's the list. Notably, 6 of these members, Ernest Bales, Drew Darby, Justin Holland, Glenn Rogers, John Kemple, and Gary Van Dever, they oppose Governor Abbott's push for school choice legislation just a few months ago, killed school choice legislation in the House. And Abbott has already gone out there and endorsed opponents to both Darby and Rogers. And yet you have House Speaker Dade Phelan contributing to them, sending them money, putting him at odds with Governor Abbott. Certainly an interesting development. And in addition to direct financial support, some Republican incumbents are reporting in-kind polling contributions from Phelan. This means that Phelan's campaign paid for something for them. In this case, it would be polling, something of value, including, by the way, several House impeachment managers following the failed impeachment of Attorney General Ken Paxton. A lot of them were reported in late September, early October. Those members include State Representatives David Spiller, Charlie Guerin, Jeff Leach, Briscoe Kane, all who served on the impeachment board of managers. State Representative Andrew Murr, who led the impeachment, he was the head guy pushing for the impeachment of Ken Paxton, also reported nearly $14,000 in polling from Phelan just weeks before he announced he would not seek re-election. Isn't that interesting? So he did polling, then decided, you know what, it was time to hang it up. Very interesting development indeed. An update in the presidential race. You might have seen this. Senator Ted Cruz has now officially gone out there and has endorsed Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump following his major victory in the Iowa caucus earlier this week. In a post on X, Senator Cruz stated that he's proud to endorse Trump and said, "It's the time for us to unite to oust Joe Biden and save our country from the Democrats' destructive agenda." Trump won the caucuses in Iowa Monday with, I believe it's 51% of the vote, beating the previous victory margin record set in 1988. Cruz called Trump's win in Iowa decisive before calling on Republicans to unite behind Trump and beat Joe Biden. The person who hasn't gotten that message, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, both of whom are still in the race, and seems that they're going to both battle it out in New Hampshire and possibly South Carolina after that. Now, Trump has also received some other big endorsements in Texas from other officials, including Governor Greg Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, Attorney General Ken Paxton, Land Commissioner Don Buckingham, and Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller.
The Luke Macias Show is your access to what happens behind closed doors in Texas politics. Listen weekly to me, your host, Luke Macias, as I break down what is actually happening in conservative politics in the Lone Star State, a state that we all love and cherish. Listen weekly wherever you listen to podcasts. This show is a product of Texas Scorecard.
Unfortunately, another story about some bad behavior happening in Texas's schools. A Central Texas teacher is facing charges of having an inappropriate relationship with a student. Michael Winters, who worked as a special education teacher for Leander Independent School District in Central Texas, allegedly engaged in sexual contact with a student at Leander High School on September 8th. That's according to the Williamson County District Attorney. In a letter sent to parents, Leander High School Principal Chris Simpson said that the teacher was placed on administrative leave when the district learned of the alleged inappropriate contact, pending an investigation by police and Child Protective Services. Leander ISD told Texas Scorecard that Winters is still on administrative leave. The Leander Police Department also says they cannot release more information regarding the case because it's ongoing and it involves a minor. According to jail records, Winters was booked into Williamson County Jail on Saturday with a bail of $15,000. He later posted bail and was released the following day. According to state records, his teaching certificate is currently under investigation by the Texas Education Agency. You can find out more about today's stories at texasscorecard.com.